podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
All right, Daniel, how goes it? It's been nice to have a week in which United haven't been fighting amongst themselves after being humiliated by some mid-rank side.
Yeah, it really is. I didn't know what to do with myself. Not accustomed to this kind of behaviour. But the funny thing about it is that the reason why I have such disgust for this team is not because they're crap. It's because for 2 years and a bit more, they've been capable of beating the better teams and deserving to, and also dispatching the rubbish teams, often from behind. Like, we know they can do it. And it really is just a facility of effort. I mean, it's not just a facility of effort, because the way that they defended the box in particular was excellent, and that was mainly the new lads.
Yeah.
But the ability to not play dreadfully,
yeah, amazing,
is something that we know that they have.
It reminds me of that old thing that Fergie said about cheating the manager, the one that set off Kevin Keegan all those years ago.
Yeah, I mean, I think... Go on. Sorry, I'm interrupting.
No. It's just... I know that's reductive, but they've had... In Ollie, a coach who got great results out of them. In Rangnick, a coach that was respected throughout Europe, although maybe he shouldn't have been. And in Ten Hag, someone who's taken Ajax to the Champions League semi-finals, right? It's not like they've had people who didn't know what they were doing to some level, and still they managed to completely destroy themselves over and over again. So this is, I hope this is a kind of landmark result in which we can move forward, but I suspect that's not going to be the case, and there'll be a few bumps along the way here.
There'll still be bumps, of course, but I do think that this is kind of a staging post, because for various reasons. Like, one is that the two defenders that he signed, you can see have character.
Yeah.
And for Martinez to be barging Salah like that in particular, it's not even a you barge Salah, Scouse twat. It isn't even that. It's the confidence to get up, barge their best player for no reason, in the knowledge that he's got 88 minutes or whatever was left to make you look a prick.
Yeah.
And the self-confidence to actually get involved in that tells you that something about him. And I think the same Malacia, who is a little bit raw, but he's not overawed. Mm-hmm. And he seems to me to be a very different kind of personality to Luke Shaw, who I'm sure is an alright bloke, but he's not ebullient and bubbly and constantly looking for what he can do.
Sure, yeah.
Malacia is that, and Martinez. I mean, I thought Martinez in particular was a brilliant performance. I mean, Liverpool didn't play well, blah 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 blah, but what I really like about Martinez is he doesn't mess around waiting to get things done. So, Harry Maguire has this reputation of someone who's good on the ball. It doesn't matter if you're good on the ball if you do it slow.
Yeah, sure.
And that first goal came about because Martinez hit a first-time pass. It wasn't a brilliant pass to feet. It was just a pass that sustained the attack. And that's one of those phrases that Fergie loved, and you're really talking about it as well. You ring-fence the box, you sustain the attacks, and that's something United have really struggled to do in the post-Fergie era. And Maguire, Lindelof are both all right on the ball, but if that ball comes out to them, they take a touch, they have a look, they go square, they go backwards, and Martinez was just boom, first touch in the corner, like towards the corner, and the attack continues, and United score. And it's that mentality that, and I think that's something that they've been careful about with the players that they signed. I mean, Ole thought he was doing it as well.
Yeah.
It's not a new invention. Ole thought he was getting that with Maguire, but it's the level of self-confidence, decisiveness, nastiness, whatever you want to call it, that Martinez has, that Maguire and Lindelof just don't have. And we talked about this before, when we signed Lindelof and he said his best quality was his calmness. And I said, well, my best quality would be my calmness, but also you're playing centre-back for Man United. This is not, it's not about calm behaviour.
It's interesting with Martinez because he's the very opposite of that, isn't he? He's very, very active, and that was actually the thing that concerned me more about Martinez than any kind of physical problem, was that he seemed to overcompensate for the physical problem by being very active. And if you're always tight to the forward like he is, then that can cause you problems. But against Liverpool, with United playing a deep line, that worked perfectly. And Salah barely got a chance, and the passing is not only because he's a left footer and it opens up the pitch, that side opens the pitch up on that side, but he is very quick with the ball. The amount of balls he just pinged out like rapidly into midfield or to Malacia on the left hand side was
timing,
great.
Isn't it? It's desire and timing, and I think that what both him and Malacia have is also recovery pace, and that's something that Maguire and Lindelof don't have. And if you're not brilliant, and if you're slow and you don't have, and if you don't have recovery pace, then you've got to be so careful not to make any errors.
Right. Well, especially in the system that eventually we assume Ten Hag will want to play, which is with a higher line. I mean, against Liverpool, kind of understandable. They went back to Ollie ball and played deep and then broke quickly, and it just worked perfectly. Interesting, like looking at the numbers, United ran obviously the famously 13.8 kilometres less than Brentford. They ran further than Liverpool, which I guess you often do when you don't have the ball. But also they completed 50% more sprints. So if we're talking about effort and desire, that's just one number, but it says something. This was a United side that broke really rapidly and often, and
just
it's
taking
perfect.
No time off.
Yeah, constantly active, and the intensity was great, and all the things that we want from this United side as they transition from being really crap to hopefully just a bit less than that, you know.
And it's just, and it's 10. You can just see already that Martinez and Malacia are good, and the biggest change was just he got the team right.
Yeah,
It's taken 2 games. He knows who the best players are, and then once you have your team, and you have a system, a way of playing, it then becomes easier to bring a player or two in and out. But I mean, he said it himself, Ten Hag, that people think he's this technocrat, and he is into that shit. But he was very clear that the main thing is effort and players.
Yeah,
much more so. Like talent and mentality will always be tactics and strategy. Will always be more important. And the players put it in, and he picked the right ones. And and if you think about the fact that we've got a performance of that level, and then you've got Casemiro to come into that, then you start to think, actually, and this is the thing, like, although you sit there going, we need 10 new players, and it is possible to advocate for that, you also know that the players you happily boot out the door aren't actually crap. What's pissing us off with them is the lack of application. And what he's got now, something that Ole never had, is competition for places. Basically, and it's partly because of the he's had a bit of money, and he's got the good players that Ole had, plus some more that he's bought. But it's also that once you have that competition for places, it means that you're not constantly going back to the same players who let you down. And then this is where the system comes in. Where the system comes in is, which Ole didn't quite have, is that when you have a system, it means that the players know what's expected of them, and then with that competition, you can start rotating. Whereas Ole basically had to overplay the same players because he didn't have any good ones, any other good ones, and he just had to rely on the ones that he had, because ultimately it was just they would kind of sit back and break, and that was it. And he didn't have midfield options.
Yeah, no, and we will do now. I mean, I suspect in 3 years' time, Casemiro might feel like a bit of a burden, especially as we transition to the more Ajax style of playing, and he might not necessarily fit with that. But I think this season he'll be excellent. He'll be excellent in a team. Ten Hag seems like a pragmatist. I think he's learnt that the squad of players he's got can't play total football, and that's not going to work for them. And I think he'll pick strategies for the games he's got ahead of him, and Casemiro will fit, especially with that kind of performance. I really would like, and doesn't look like we're going to get, a sort of controlling midfielder alongside him, because unless Eriksen's going to play,
well, I think that's
deep
Eriksen,
like
isn't
that.
It? I mean,
yeah, I mean, I guess they're going to try it. He looked absolutely shattered at the end of that game. You do wonder about, is it just lack of fitness because he's not had a proper pre-season?
I think he's got a look. He's a bloke who always looks a bit sweaty as well. Like I bet he does a lot. I bet he does a lot of sweating.
A bit like Gary Pallister, who looked knackered 5 minutes into a game.
He's just got that look. But on Casemiro, I think in 3 years he'll still be useful to have around. You might not necessarily want him to be first choice, but in the same way that City had with Fernandinho, he'll still know how to play and he'll still know how to commit fouls without getting booked. And it's that balance, isn't it? That I think we all probably wanted someone who was 23 or so to come in and fill that position and just be brilliant for the next 10 years. We couldn't get that. So getting someone who now is one of the best around in that position is not bad, because I think, again, you're getting mentality. You're getting someone who wants to win, someone who knows how to win, and someone who's not going to put up with bullshit from the players around him, and who no one can argue with because he's won 5 European Cups.
Well, quite, yeah.
And again, like, maybe he's come for the money or this or that, but I would say that on the balance of probabilities, there is a much greater chance that we make him look shit than he makes us look shit.
I think that's fair enough. Then the question marks over a few players. I mean, obviously we're all being short-termist after that victory, and we make big analysis of stuff that might not mean something. But Shaw and Maguire don't look like they'll be back in the team anytime soon. I
think Shaw will be better with some competition,
and as he was when Telles first came in. It's World Cup year. I mean, I don't think either of them are going to be leaving in this transfer window with a week to go. But it's a concern for either of them. But I guess they've just got to prove in the Europa League against Dynamo Tbilisi or whoever United pull out. Sorry, Dynamo fans, that they're good enough to push for a place in the side again. And then the other big question is Ronaldo, who was dropped and has no options. And
I love the fact that he was brought on to defend corners.
I know.
How do you like that, dickhead?
We had Donny van de Beek in the Donny van de Beek role and Ronaldo in a Donny van de Beek role as well, and coming on with 5 minutes to go. But yeah,
I mean, he made good changes again, actually.
Yeah. No, he managed to keep it fresh. I mean, I was a bit concerned that it was going to go a bit defensive at the end, but I guess it was for the whole game in a sense. But United just defended their box really, really well and brought Fred on for a bit of extra defensive nous. So it was, good changes again. There's a lot of positive signs.
That's it, because if you've got the players who are now going to knit it together, then the players who we know are good, who aren't necessarily able to lift it on their own, you'll get much more from them. So Sancho is not going to lift it on his own. He's not that kind of player or personality, I don't think. But if all of a sudden your spine is Varane and Martinez, then Casemiro, Eriksen, Bruno, then the players to the sides of that, they're going to have a lot more of the ball. The defence isn't going to be under so much pressure. They're going to have much more scope to do the stuff that they do. And I said, I think last week, that Sancho's like that kind of like cage player, five-a-side player, and that's exactly what we saw from him. It was a proper five-a-side piece of work, that goal that he scored. I'd still like to have seen more from him in general play. And if Anthony's coming in, which it seems that he is, I wonder if we might see him moving over to the left, because it seems like Anthony only plays on the right.
Mm-hmm. And Sancho's best numbers have come on the left. I mean, I don't know whether that's really true about his best performances, but he certainly puts in more goals and assists from the left. And look, competition for Rashford, great, perfect. If we're using Martial through the middle this season because we're not buying a striker, great. I mean, he adds a lot if he stays fit. If he stays fit and hungry, we'll see on that one. It's like history tells us that might not be true. Anthony, well, we'll see. I mean, United are going to pay a 30 million euro premium for not being competent in the transfer market and not doing this earlier. Maybe more than that.
Is just ridiculous behaviour, that. But the thing, I don't understand the signing of Anthony, I must say, and it's not a comment on Anthony, it's that when I look at this squad, a left-footed right winger is not. I want one, but it's not what my main thing, because to me, and also there's no he's not going anywhere else, so he's still there for us if we want to go back next summer. Probably get him for less as well. Yeah, and I would definitely be spending the Anthony money on a right back, I think. At this point.
100%. I mean, a controlling midfielder and a right back are like two big priorities. You probably want a forward as well, a centre forward, but hey, the right back would probably unlock Sancho a bit more as well, because he hasn't got someone competent behind him.
that we've seen for 2 seasons now, teams basically not bothering to defend our right flank because they know that it's whoever was playing there, Greenwood or Rashford, whoever or Sancho, against everyone. And the only way really to change that is to get someone else out there. And I don't really understand why we're not getting a right back and why it's so essential that we get Anthony right now. Because
I think you're right, but that all comes down to strategy in the market, and United are just not competent, honestly. Whole new team and the same results. So
I guess also if you're the manager and you want this player, you think, well, if they get him for me now, how can Ten Hag trust that they won't have fired him by this time next season, by this time next year, or that they'll stick to what they say. So if he's available now, get him now. But at the money that they're paying, he should be absolutely ready to be brilliant in the Premier League.
Yeah, and it would be very unlikely that he is. The drop off in quality from Eredivisie to Premier League is about 50%. Or the increase in quality.
We've seen Martinez come in and be good, and good in such a way that you don't. He's not like a striker who might come in, hit a run of form like Marco Negri when you went to Rangers or whatever, and then it never be like that again. You can just see that he likes defending. He's got all, and whereas with Anthony, I guess you don't really know if his footwork will translate to better defenders, whether he'll. I mean, I guess Ten Hag should know if he's got the physicality. He doesn't exactly look like he necessarily does, but he does have attitude, which is helpful. Like he does have that attitude of entitlement, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that in a good way, that he thinks he's good and he knows that this is his level, and he's making a fuss because he knows that this is his level, which it might not be, but it won't be lack of confidence that undermines him.
All right, well, that's Anthony. We'll see. United, he apparently is putting the transfer request today, so I guess United feel confident that it's going to happen. I mean, he's not been training this week.
Murta told there's some video of Murta. Was it Murta or the other one? Arnold. I mean, interchangeable, aren't they? When someone says, "Are we getting him?" and he says, "Yeah," and he mouths yes. But we could have a front line also of Toner, and Toner, which is nice.
Exactly. I really want them to play the 3 Tonys up front. It'd be perfect. Just for the memes. The other stuff that's happening, looks like James Garner's definitely out the door. Might be Everton. God, don't ruin your career under Frank Lampard, for the love of God, man. Just he might be going to Leicester and Brenton. We'll see on that one. It's a shame for him that he's not going to be making it at United, but he'll have a decent Premier League career somewhere, I imagine. And then United after. Sorry,
I don't mind that he's going, in that I doubt that he's good enough. What I've been hearing is that people don't think he's got the physicality, and I've been hearing that about him for years, and so that's fine. Yeah. I don't like flogging him because he's the only thing we can get cash money for in order to finance purchases that we should be able to make without doing that.
Yeah. Looks like United are going to go for another keeper. It's just such a bizarre series of events. I mean, clearly like Henderson couldn't stay because he didn't want to. He wouldn't even train under Ten Hag. I guess United don't think he's good enough. They couldn't sell him for whatever reason because he's 25. He seems like a very saleable asset, and he'd rather be in a relegation scrap. So United have to go and get another keeper, which might be weirdly Newcastle's second keeper.
It's all. I mean, he was. And I mean, the first thing about Henderson is I read yesterday he has the worst pass accuracy in the Premier League this season.
Right.
Which just makes me laugh because, again...
I mean, it might be just because he's booting it long all the time. I mean, if that's... I haven't seen enough of Forest to see.
It might also be because he's not particularly good with his feet.
Good with his feet, yeah.
And having previously said that he didn't want to train in front of Ten Hag because he knew that would make Ten Hag would make him stay. I don't know. I'm not sure I'd be spaffing anything on a goalkeeper who I didn't think was good enough to be number one.
Well, and that's it. And Dubravka clearly isn't. I mean, it's cheap. I know it's going to be a loan with an option, but I just don't see the point, really. It seems such a bizarre series of events. They could have forced Henderson to stay and push De Gea, because actually when he was potentially number one, that really did push De Gea's performances. Anyway, the other interesting thing about De Gea is that he didn't want... Well, I think there was one pass he made which was short, in which United got in trouble on against Liverpool, and the rest of it just booted long, and clearly, Ten Hag's seen it and said, "Just kick it." So
I think that was partly. I don't know if that was that. It may also have been like, and I always think about there's a fight analyst called Jack Slack, and he would always say that if you're fighting someone, not you or me, obviously, I don't think this is intended for us, but if one is fighting someone and worried about how someone who appears to not have weaknesses to exploit, what you do is you take away what they do well. How can you stop them doing the thing that they really want to do? And if you look at Liverpool, they run you off the pitch in midfield, they get the fullbacks basically the playmakers, and they press you from the front. And we just took the pressing from the front out of the game.
Yeah.
And also, with the players that played wide, pushed the fullbacks back. And in order to play our game, we took away what they do well.
Yes.
But back to the transfers. How on earth have we gone from Marco Arnautovic and Adrian Rabiot to Casemiro and Anthony? We were literally like we were some racism and Rabiot's mum away from that.
I know. I mean, it's shocking, and I think it might come back to the thing that we said about Erik ten Hag. I mean, how, like, unless it's the panic, and the Glazers are very reactive, and they're all worried about another game getting called off, and they thought this might paper over some cracks, which then it's Ten Hag. Ten Hag saying he needs these players and putting pressure on. And I don't know whether it's that or whether it's just the Glazers are so thin-skinned about reaction from sponsors and the public that they've suddenly released the money that they didn't have.
Well, they still don't have it. It's still not their money. It's just, is it not more money we're giving us less headroom? Is that not?
Yeah, I mean, look, United can afford these deals in terms of their both their FFP position and their cash position. I've got over 100 million in the bank in cash, so that's fine. You're going to assume that the dividends will always be paid anyway, and so it will just change the numbers in subsequent years, and that's the problem with paying loads of money. It's not that like I give a fuck whether Casemiro was 10 million or 70 million or Anthony was 5 million or 100 million. It's that will affect, presumably, the amount of money that's available in later years for Ten Hag to build. So they've got to work, and if they don't work, United are really screwed.
But I mean, it's not difficult to be hopeful now, because it was always going to be about the same it was with Ole. Are the players he bought any good? Like, there are other aspects to it too, but we know that Ten Hag is a good coach. We know that he understands how football works, and he's a systems guy. But can he identify good players? And we don't know how good Malacia and Martinez might be, but I think we can be absolutely certain that they're better than the ones that we had in their positions, and they're going to improve, and we know that Casemiro is good.
Yeah. Oh, no, absolutely. We got some evidence now that all three of the summer signings are good. We know Eriksen's good, and we know Casemiro's good. I mean, the only question marks are over the long-term thing with Casemiro. Anthony is more of a shot in the dark. I mean, his numbers don't look particularly good, and I haven't seen enough to make a really definitive statement. So, we'll see.
Agreed. And the thing I still wonder is who is going to score the goals.
Well, it's one of the three Tonys up front, hopefully.
Yeah, there is
or
that.
Marcus is back. You're totally right. I mean, it is a major problem, and it's not going to get fixed this summer by the looks of it.
In fairness to Rashford, actually, it did sort of seem like Monday was a changing of the luck as well. Like, I didn't think he was one of the worst in either of the first two games, and just the bounce of the ball weren't quite going his way. I thought he was offside for the goal. Still think he was offside for the goal, which makes it better.
That's new VAR. That is new VAR gave him the benefit of the doubt. So yeah, he would have been a toenail offside in previous seasons, and new VAR gave him the 5 centimeters of grace. So yeah, he was technically offside, but VAR says no these days.
Yeah, but the thing is him and Sancho might get us 30 goals between them, say, and Martial might get another 10. It's still, you feel like every game you're sort of cobbling together your goal scorers, rather than, because Bruno's good, I presume, going to be playing deeper now, on which point I was quite pleased about this because I think that he can play as an 8 because I think he understands the game well and has a good engine. He gets calls for the Hollywood passes and all the rest of it. But I think in the United teams he's played in, it's partly been like that because there's been no one else who's going to create anything, and it's basically down to him to make stuff happen. Now that isn't the case, and there'll hopefully be a more coherent way of playing attacking football. That means to me that there'll be more opportunities for other people, more players. We've got Eriksen can also create. Simply swapping Eriksen for Fred or McTominay is a massive creative upgrade. And if you add Casemiro into that again, you're getting much more of the ball. You're giving more scope to those players. So I think that we'll have to see. I mean, I don't think everyone agrees with this. I thought Bruno was excellent the other night, even though he still gave the ball away, almost scored an own goal. But we saw the kind of desire and the kind of leadership, and also saw that I think that he does have the ability to play slightly deeper.
Yeah, we've got look, and again, reductive, but it's just night and day when Ronaldo's not in the side with Bruno, isn't it? I mean, all the numbers say it as well. So it's good for United, and it's good for him, and for Portugal as well. Yeah, I think it's not all about Ronaldo, and now it doesn't have to be all about Bruno either because there are other creators in the side. Completely agree with that, and I feel positive about that as well. And
imagine it's also I just feel like the atmosphere will improve. Just imagine how pissed off he's been these last kind of year or so, because he's the one player in the team who sort of should be a world class player, who's in his proper prime, and he's frittering it with Maguire, and all the rest of it, and players not putting effort in.
Yeah.
And it feels like
he looks like he's pissed off as well, doesn't he?
Yeah, and if you have happy players, you're just going to have players that are performing better. Just in any field of endeavour, if people are happy, they'll be more productive.
Yeah, I agree. Back in the market, United have sold Eric Bailly, loan with an obligation if he stays fit, which is a big question mark, and it's like no money either. United cannot sell players. It's amazing. When's the last time we sold a player for big money? Extraordinary stuff. Yeah, Di Maria, and that was a £15 million loss.
Bailly's a shame in that he's someone I thought should have been good.
Yeah.
He had good raw materials, but I think when he arrived, he'd played very few games for someone of his age. And the injuries stopped him from ever playing consistently, plus obviously all the other appalling shit that was going on around him, such that he never quite got to where he could have got to. And I feel like him and Marseille sounds like a really excellent mix.
So it's such a good fit, isn't it? I mean, honestly, it's just chef's kiss, perfect.
Exactly.
I'm definitely going to be tuning into some of those games. And Velodrome is a magnificent stadium, and Marseille fans are proper nutters as well. So, perfect combination. Love it. Good for him. I hope he can get his career back on track. He seems like I don't know anything, but he seems like a decent guy who wants to do well. And
I have actually briefly encountered him in the mix zone after Vigo away, and he seemed like a nice boy.
Good. Well, look, we got a week left of the window. A bit less. It's 1st September, isn't it? So I guess United are going to try and close out this deal for Anthony. Garner will be the 21st player to have left this summer if he goes, which is extraordinary turnover, really. I mean, about half of them are first team squad type players. Presumably a few more loans. I don't know whether United will do any extra deals beyond Anthony and the reserve keeper. That looks like it's probably it. And by the time we come to the weekend, which we haven't really talked about, we'll know who our Europa League group is. Exciting stuff.
It could have been like in the end. If you look at the players that have come in, it's not bad, is it? I mean, it's not everything that I would have wanted, but Eriksen for free, no brainer, and then the other players all fill positions. They're all better. They seem to be, and you can criticise the strategy of ending up with Casemiro, but it doesn't make him any less of a good player. That we might not have planned it, but it kind of almost felt when we got him that people had thought that by us signing him out of nowhere, when no one thought we would, and when we might not have planned for it, he suddenly had become a worse player.
The frustrating thing about the strategy is that in financial terms, United still have a massive swinging dick, that they can swing around Europe and get what they want. And if they weren't so bloody incompetent at doing it, the managers that we've had over the past 9 years would not have been left short all of the time. And like so much of it stems from that. There's the money there. If only they weren't so dumb. And they're just amongst the dumbest clubs in Europe generally. But, 4 players they've got, all good players, all going to contribute to the team, all going to be regular starters by the looks of it, all going to make United better. And if they get Anthony as well, we'll see. We'll see whether he can really cut it, but he's going to add an extra maybe an extra dimension, but an extra body in the attacking areas too.
Sometimes I feel like, especially like at the early stage where you're building a team, I almost feel like you don't want too many players. You want something to groove, where it's more or less the same players all the time, because you want a system to settle, you want the team spirit to build, and you want it to be a method of playing. And signing Anthony like that is almost like something we might do next summer or the summer after. But yeah, hopefully he's good at playing football, and I think that he'll give us a bit of attitude as well, which is never a shame. I mean, you got to back it up, but there's now, assuming he comes, there's now a little bit more nastiness in this team than there was before,
and I like that. All right, I guess we'll leave it there, Dan. Great catching up with you for the midweek pod, and it's amazing, isn't it, how we're all upbeat and chipper and taking on the world, and all it takes is smashing the Scousers, and everything is good with the world again.
Well, I guess we'll see. We'll see what happens against Southampton, because again, it's not, you can get up for one game, but in the ability to keep getting up is again something that your Martinez's,
your Martinez's and your Malassias,
what you would hope that would help with that. And I think like one thing I kind of felt slightly concerned about was this Ten Hag going on about how he'll be using Shaw and Maguire very soon. And to me, I think if say you bring Maguire in for Leicester because Varane can't play Leicester and Arsenal, then that makes some sense. But I'd not be looking to do too much with the team, because you're trying to bed in a new team, and in order to do that, they need to keep playing. And Martinez and Varane look like a really good partnership. Varane played excellent game from Varane as well, as actually.
Outstanding, exactly what we want from him. But you're right. Can they do it on a warm Saturday afternoon in Southampton is a big question, and can we get some consistency of performances is another. So looking for that. Feeling more confident, but it's a completely different game where United will have much more of the ball and have to attack Southampton, and who by the way are in a total mess. And it's amazing they haven't sacked Hasenhüttl by now, but they haven't, and maybe we'll do for him. What I'm looking for is the Villa game in a few weeks' time. That could be the end of Gerrard. I mean, which would be quite sweet.
That would be tremendous. I've accepted the fact that he's not going to do well enough to get the Liverpool job, and that is a joy that is going to be denied us. But yeah, removing him from his job would be lovely. And with Southampton, it's cool. So I've never forgotten that game just after the takeover when United sent them down, where I don't even think that their fans were really singing too much about the Glazers, and it was actually United who were counting down the time till they were relegated. But I think I sort of dislike them for the proximity of that game to the takeover, even though they had nothing to do with it. So
it's fairly petty, but yeah, there's a few things to dislike about the Glazer takeover more than that. But yeah,
no, this is me disliking Southampton. It's not about me disliking the takeover. It's about
I get it.
It's about antipathy towards Southampton. But again, it is. I mean, it just sounds such a banal thing to say, but we do need to win that game.
We do.
Stick with us for further insights.
We'll see you after the weekend, everyone, and I'll see you soon, Dan.
Cheer up.